Hey everyone, the mysterious producer here again, coming at you with another Deadliest story prediction. Now, before we start, I would like everyone to take a moment of silence for everyone who has died by the hand of genocidal dictators like these, and the families who found the strength to go on. This is for you. Amen. Now let's take a look at the weapons in question. There's going to be four weapons in this matchup: a light machine gun, a pistol, an explosive weapon, and a knife. Now, I don't care how they're planning on testing these weapons. I'm going to look at these weapons separately. So, let's get started with the light machine guns. These were handheld machine guns. These were similar to the design of a regular gun with the exception of the kickstand. Saddam comes into battle with an RPK light machine gun. This weapon is like the AK-47, very reliable, very powerful, and uses a 7.62 round. There's only really two differences I see between this and the AK-47. One, it comes with a stand. This makes it so that you can put down a lot of lead on people without having to move it around. And of course, the 40 round magazine. This was one of the iconic weapons that was used by the Red Army, and that's where Saddam actually got the idea. On Pot's side, we have the RBT. This was also resembles a little bit of the AK-47, although it predates it. This has a much higher rate of fire and a drum clip that can hold up to 100 rounds, so it has a little bit of an advantage over the RPK. The drum clip is both an advantage and a disadvantage. Because of the size of the clip, it can hold more rounds and can be fed into it. But the way that the bullets are fed makes it so that it would jam a lot. So, having an unreliable gun is a serious problem on the battlefield, and not something you want to fix under fire. If the gun does not work, then accuracy is a moot point. However, Pot gets this one in my opinion. Russian guns were known for their reliability, and if this is put into the RPT, it's far superior. Also, we have to look at how the guns are used. Pot's guns were used by guerrilla fighters and very effectively. Saddam's army was basically the conventional army. It was used for conventional warfare. Shooting lots of rounds at the army before they know they're there is a huge advantage. I know the RPK replaced the RPT, but I still think Potts gets this one. Next up, we have the handguns. Again, with these weapons, they look very similar. Saddam comes into battle with an American Browning semi-auto pistol, a powerful handgun dating back to the 1930s. Hot side comes into battle with a TT Tokarev pistol. This is also a semi-auto pistol from the 1930s, so they were made about the same time. With these, it comes down to bullet and clip size for me. The TT is a 7.62 by 25mm handgun with an 8-round magazine. With the smaller diameter of the bullet, it acts like an armor-piercing arrow and could possibly go right through body armor that they may be wearing. With the Browning rifle, it's a 9mm gun with a 13-round magazine, so it has bigger bullets and more stopping power, but it can't penetrate through body armor. However, the Browning really wins for me because neither is wearing body armor as far as I'm aware. So having more larger bullets that have more stopping power is going to matter in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, this one goes to the Browning. Alright, moving right along. On close range weapons, we have what we see, a old weapon that we have seen before, and a new one. Saddam comes into battle with the AKM bayonet. This knife is used for hand-to-hand combat, but also can be equipped to the end of their assault rifle and be made to use as a spear. This means that this can be used up close as well as mid-range, which does give you an advantage. On the other side, we have the farmer's tool turned weapon. This is the cane knife, and it's all its glory. This millimeter thick blade is great for cutting, and it has a greater range than the bayonet, unless it's mounted. For this one, it's really not close for me. The bayonet, it's primarily a thrusting weapon in order to be effective. It has to thrust hard and in the right spot, or it doesn't work. It's shorter, slower, and in my opinion, less effective. The cane knife can lop off limbs and cause way more trauma than a bayonet ever could. Well, let's keep moving. Let's look at explosive weapons. On Saddam's side, we have the RGD-5 grenade. This is a standard Russian fragmentation grenade dating back to the Cold War. Anyone who has seen Green Beret vs. Spetsnaz knows the power of these grenades. Hot side, we have a stick grenade. I'm really unsure of the model that they're going to be using, but they were very popular during World War II. Like the cane knife, this is an obvious one for me. There's a reason why stick grenades were replaced by round grenades. The fragmentation doesn't go as far in a stick grenade. There is a lot less TNT and cannot be rolled, so that you have to throw it right near the enemy in order for it to be effective. So when it comes to the things that go boom, I would have to go with the RGB-5. Finally, let's take a look at these bastards themselves. Now, one thing I did notice when I researched these warriors is neither one is an actual general. They're politicians first. Holbat's Khmer Rouge were a group of guerrilla fighters. They were doing ambushes and mass barrages. He was very patient and cunning and had a job that could recruit more soldiers. He was a teacher by nature and very influential in that way. He based his vision off of communist China and his own way he was raised. He was very successful and brutal, and the only reason he was stopped is because he killed one of his generals, which was his undoing. Saddam and his Republican Army is a traditional army in the sense. They were well funded and had size and motivation to see it through. However, he was impatient and even rash. He actually tried to assassinate the president when he was younger and didn't think it all the way through. He doesn't think really anything through, which led him to lose both the war with Iran and the war with America, twice. Later, even his army started to rebel due to lack of funding. So, which one is really better? Well, Saddam is bigger and probably more feared by his army. He was the only person in history to use nerve gas on his own people. But his impatience is a major Achilles heel. He actually did try to kill the president before fleeing to Egypt, where he was accepted by the party he later came to represent. Although I might be a minority on this, I think Pol Pot's going to get this. Saddam was able to take over Kuwait, but he was not able to keep it. Pol Pot was only kicked out by his own people. So, this one goes to Pol Pot. And if he doesn't win, I don't care.